Clara Jane Schwartz was born in 1981. She was the youngest of three kids to her father, Robert, and her mother, Joan. Her father, Robert, was born on May 13th, 1944. He and Joan had married in September of 1974. Robert was a bioscientist and apparently was a founding member of the Biotechnology Association in Virginia. In 1997, Joan would sadly die of cancer. Clara would basically go online and play role-playing games with people online as a way to cope with this and would call herself Lord Chaos. With, of course, Robert trying to bring her back into reality. In 1999, after the Columbine High School shootings, Clara would basically start wearing trench coats wherever she went. And of course, when asked why, she basically said it was to keep the bullies away due to inspiration of the Columbine shooters. So then, of course, she starts going to Renaissance fairs, and here she meets a group by the name of Michael Fole and Catherine Inglis, who essentially become her followers. And then she meets another guy by the name of Kyle Hubert, who apparently is 18, who was born in September of 1983, and his parents had divorced when he was 2. So while the group apparently is hanging out in Clara's college dorm, she is telling them that she's being physically, emotionally, and sexually abused by her dad, Robert. Apparently, one night at dinner, Kyle was over, and Robert would see a large knife that Kyle had, and he told Clara that he did not feel comfortable with Kyle being around the house anymore. So then 9/11 would happen, and Clara would tell Kyle that was her doing. And then apparently Kyle was also arrested that same month for having a concealed knife on him. And then Clara apparently would write a check to Kyle for $60 in order for him to buy a burner phone, so there was no trace of what they were about to do to Robert. So then on December 8th, 2001, Mike and Catherine drive Kyle to the house. Clara is on a phone call on her college dorm campus. That's like a whole 100 miles away, so pretty much giving her like a false alibi. Kyle will then proceed to stab Robert apparently multiple times with a samurai sword and then put an X in the back of his neck. They apparently leave the scene, but the getaway car gets stuck. Kyle actually winds up going to the neighbors and asking to like, can he call for a tow truck? Robert is apparently found on the 10th. Neighbors remember Kyle asking for a tow truck a couple of days earlier. Catherine and Mike are eventually found and both arrested, and Catherine actually gave a 10-page statement to the police. So then in a little twist, apparently CP was actually found on Robert's laptop. And of course, the defense tried to use this to prove that Robert apparently at least was abusive to Clara. So then Kyle gets sentenced to life. Mike gets 18 years. Catherine gets time served in exchange for testifying against everybody. And then Clara gets 48 years.